Give him hell, Kyle. Give him hell.
Rittenhouse doesn't seem eager to talk about it, but he spent months in jail after turning himself into police, much of it in an adult lockup, despite the fact he was a minor. It was during that time that his family desperately, his mother mostly desperately, looked for legal counsel, for representation, someone helping him get out of jail. In the end, the family was represented by a pair of lawyers called Lynn Wood and John Pierce. This came up out of nowhere. We were not expecting to have this conversation at all. We were taken by surprise a little bit, but it's really interesting. Here's Kyle Rittenhouse's description of what his lawyers did to him. So you get arrested. What happens then?
Once I'm arrested, I go to Depke Juvenile Facility, and I gotta say thank you to them for their professionalism. And
the jailers,
the guards at Depke, they were the utmost professional people I've ever met.
Really?
Exactly. They were some of the most professional people I've ever met.
I'm
it was
amazed.
amazing. Like, they treated me with respect, and they didn't like talk down to you like you've seen like in some videos. They just treated me like I was a human.
How long were you there?
I was in jail for 87 days, and this follows in with Lynn Wood, Lynn Wood was raising money on my behalf, and he held me in jail for 87 days, disrespected my wishes, put me on media interviews, which I should never have done, which he said, oh, you're going to go talk to the Washington Post, which was not a good idea. Along with John Pierce, they said I was safer in jail instead of at home with my family. And then after I'm bailed
Your
out,
own lawyer said that?
My lawyer said that, John Pierce and Lynn.
Yo, man, like if you looked at followed this case even a tad bit, the absolute beyond smear campaign that they were doing on this young man was crazy. It was so crazy.
Wood.
87 days is a long time.
That's disgusting, man.
It was
from your lawyers. Like, they're literally supposed to be the number one people in your corner besides, your family doing what they can at home. But, legally in your corner, your lawyers are supposed to have your back. That's crazy. The corruption, man, it runs deep.
It was very long. I lost a lot of weight in there. I since then gained it back.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. But 87 days
of
not being with my family, for defending myself and being taken advantage to, being used for a cause by by John Pierce and Lynn Wood, trying to trying to raise money so they can take it for their own benefit, not trying to set me free.
So you think they could have raised the money for bail faster, but they didn't?
I believe sometime in September 5th, I want to say, they had over $1 million, and bail was set and able to be posted in September. So they could have had me sign the waiver for extradition and had me back in Wisconsin, and I could have been bailed out by mid-September. But they wanted to keep me in jail until November 20th.
What was that like?
It was scary in jail. Like, you had to watch over yourself, and not a lot of people liked me in jail until the funny thing is, a lot of people didn't like.
They wanted this young man to stay in. He literally could have got killed in jail, but he could have been back in Wisconsin with his people. They kept this young man in jail. He could have got killed in there, man. Was that the point? I don't know.
Me in jail, but they got to hear like my story, and they got to understand me. Like, he's actually a really decent person. I'm not this person that the media painted him out to be. And it was scary, but I was able to make friends, I'd say, acquaintance in jail, and like play spades, card games with them.
Amazing. So you're in jail for 87 days. Do you have a sense of how your case is being talked about in the outside world?
Not really when I'm in jail, but once I am bailed out, John Pierce said I was in an unorganized militia, which is just blatantly false. I didn't know what a militia was.
Wait, your lawyer said you were in a militia?
John Pierce said that, and it's blatantly false. I didn't know what a militia was until after the fact, until November like 25th, after I was watching some of the interviews he did. I was like, I'm not in a militia. I don't know what that is.
Sorry to laugh.
I was talking to my sister the other day. It's kind of sidebar, kind of random. I was talking to my sister the other day, and she was talking about how Tucker like had like he's so like even keeled like all the time that when you hear him laugh, it just catches you off guard.
Until after the fact, until November like 25th, after I was watching some of the interviews he did. I was like, I'm not in a militia. I don't know what that is.
Sorry to laugh.
And I was like, what the heck? And I'm like, no wonder people are saying I'm in a militia. It's because he painted that narrative, which he should never have gone there.
Well, yeah, it's untrue.
Exactly.
Were you surprised so I haven't heard you mention race at all in this conversation. You said you saw your community on fire, you wanted to help. You asked a business owner if you could help. Were you surprised to see this framed as a racial story?
To be honest, Tucker, this case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense.
That's it. That's it. Of course, all the freaking just name them your favorite race baiter, your favorite race hustler. You know, they jumped on this one, but this was all of this case was about. The self-defense, and that was just the absolute historical significance. If God forbid this went the other direction, that precedent, oh boy, it really wouldn't have been good for us 2A lovers, right? But freaking race, if you want to do, obviously they're talking about the protests, right? It's funny because they love to pick and choose when to use certain words. They'll call it a protest, but we all know good and well it was a freaking riot, man. Businesses were getting destroyed. It was hellacious, right? For Jacob Blake, who was an absolute scum of the earth, terrible human being, I have absolutely no empathy for this. I'm not even calling him a man, right? I have absolutely no empathy for him. That's why they're saying this about race, because it took away from what the freaking protest was about. Man. It took away from that. And for all you imbeciles saying that it would have been different, Kyle Rittenhouse was Jamal Murray. If he was Tyrone Biggles, big salute if you know that reference, it would have been different. He was a black man. He was a black guy. It would have been different. And it's just like, y'all, these people, they freaking, I literally have a straw here. They literally grasp at straws, right? To try to make it about race. This is 2A. And again, if you follow this, obviously if you're watching this video, I'm sure you did, you know, this is cut and dry self-defense, man. Simple as that. Big salute to this young man, man. He had to endure a lot. It's complete bull jive. Hogwash. Sue them all, Kyle.
What a sweet kid. I think that comes through loud and clear. Playing hearts in jail. But he seems confused by the descriptions of this case as pertaining somehow to race. What he didn't know when he was locked away for 87 days is that the media, spurred on by Democratic politicians like Joe Biden, immediately branded him a white supremacist. Again, the President of the United States did that, so did several members of Congress. Now, during the trial, one of the prosecutors, Thomas Binger, particularly loathsome character, the government lawyer, mocked Kyle Rittenhouse for putting out fires in Kenosha. It's dishonorable to put out fires, apparently, when BLM sets them. So we asked Kyle Rittenhouse about that. Here's what he said.
I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating. And I believe there needs to be change.
He's 17, y'all. He's 17. We're gonna you know what I mean? we're gonna give him look we're gonna give him a little break. We're gonna give him a little break on that one. He's 17. We said, look, we don't support that bull jive on this side. We're gonna let him make it. Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead, bro.
I believe there's a lot of prosecutorial misconduct, not just in my case, but in other cases. And it's just amazing to see how much a prosecutor can take advantage of somebody. Like, if they did this to me, imagine what they could have done to a person of color who doesn't maybe have the resources I do, or is not widely publicized like my case.
What did you make of the President of the United States calling you a white supremacist?
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement.
That's not a small thing to be called that.
No, it's actual malice, defaming my character for him to say something like that.
I mean, why do you think, and it's not simply Biden who said that, it's a lot of people on television have said that, dozens of people have said that. I'm sorry to tell you in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's actually quite hysterical how nobody can go back and look at the facts of the case. He crossed state lines, false. He's a white supremacist, false. None of that is true. And the lies that they can just get away with spreading is just sickening, and it's a disgrace to this country.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So
Same.
before this, I mean, you're 17 years old, so you're probably not, watching cable news all day or, deeply into politics, or maybe you were. But did you know how dishonest media coverage of events could be?
I didn't. I've never seen something so polarizing in my life when it's obvious self-defense. If you look at the case, you look at the facts, no matter what your opinion is or where you stand, this wasn't a political case. It shouldn't have been a political case. It was made a political case. This had nothing to do with race, and the ways people are twisting this is just sickening.
I think a lot of people watching have reached the same conclusion, and they would like to see you, help make this better by holding some of these liars to account. Do you plan to do that?
I have really good lawyers who are taking care of that right now. So I'm hoping one day there will be some.
No, but not those bums. I know it's not those bums that kept you incarcerated longer than you had to be, Kyle. I'm sure they're not. They got rid of those suckers. Sue those sons of pooches too. Come on.
There would be accountability for their actions that they did.
Okay, so you're intent on you're not going to let that go.
Like I said, really good lawyers are handling that.
Yeah. So during the trial, was there ever a point where you thought, despite the fact you had all this video evidence on your side bolstering your story, did you ever think, I might go to jail for the rest of my life?
That was a thought I had every single day until I got the not guilty verdict.
Really?
It was because are you aware who Joellen Demetris is?
Yes.
So Joellen selected my jury, which she did an amazing job, but you still have that feeling in your stomach and knots to where, like, what if somebody snuck their way onto my jury to convict me? So that was something that always went through my head.
That's an understandable concern. I get that.
Defended myself.
Were you surprised by the verdict?
I wasn't. I thought they came to the correct verdict because it wasn't Kyle Rittenhouse on trial in Wisconsin. It was the right to self-defense on trial. Right. And if I was convicted, no one would would ever be privileged to defend their life against attackers. And thank God they came to the correct verdict of a not guilty.
Couldn't agree more.
So the media lies about the police shooting of Jacob Blake.
Yep.
A riot ensues. Young people from throughout the area rush to the riot to set things on fire. Kyle Rittenhouse shows up to prevent things from being burned to the ground, to stop arson. Guess whose side our leaders take? They call him a white supremacist. They slander him. Watching him speak, you realize just how disgusting what they did to him is. Just ahead, he describes the months that he spent in jail.
1,000%, man. It's a white supremacist. See, nobody wants to talk about impact, right? Like, there are certain things that are really hard to come back from a societal standpoint. A man being falsely accused for inappropriately touching a woman, right? Hard to come back from that from societal standpoint. Remember a couple of years ago in the NFL, Myles Garrett lost his freaking mind and hit. They were playing the Browns were playing the Steelers. Myles Garrett swung with Mason Rudolph's helmet, swung and hit Mason Rudolph in the head. You can look this up with his own helmet. Thank God, by the grace of God, it was on the soft side and not the hard side of the helmet. It could have been really bad for his long-term health, we know. CPT and all that stuff, right? After that, Myles Garrett, who was in the wrong, grasping that straw, said, I did it because he called me the N-word, which wasn't true. Absolutely wasn't true. He freaking lied about it, right? But he says that, I can almost guarantee that Mason Rudolph, probably for the remainder of his life, there will be certain places where he goes to where he's going to be a person looking at him crazy because, oh my gosh, he called Myles Garrett the N. He was the guy that called that NFL player the N-word. Yeah. It's hard to come back from being labeled a racist. Okay? This trumps all of that. 17-year-old young man called a white supremacist from the president of the United States. That's crazy. With absolutely no proof, no evidence to back that atrocious claim. I'm like, Tucker, man, and I get it, dude. You're 17. I know you're probably just want to move on with your life, bro, but freaking sue them all. Sue them all. Big salute to the young man. Kyle Rittenhouse, rightly acquitted. Also, my mom texted me. She's a big Patriot, and she said, just FYI, Kyle Rittenhouse was not carrying an illegal weapon due to the size of the gun. It is legal in Wisconsin. Right. We'll see for how long, right? They'll probably change that long. Anyway, long video, but really wanted to, this whole thing happened. I kind of just wanted to touch on it. And this is I actually haven't seen this video, but it was good talking to the young man face to face. Nice soliloquy from Tucker Carlson, man. We'll see you on the next one. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Appreciate the support on the videos lately. We'll see you on the next one. Salute. God bless.